iCarly theme song.
Get copyrighted.
So if it's our voices, we're not getting copyrighted.
If you get copyrighted, that means you're that accurate to it.
That's Matt's
you,
bad.
I can't do that. My voice is fucking.
you got to do something else. What'd you say, bro?
Voice is what?
Your voice is
What?
Messed up?
Messed up.
Not a hot start.
Rookies.
Let's try to fix this start, Jacob.
We'll fix it just like this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 110, Speaking Sporadically, the podcast. So glad to have you guys listening or watching today, quite possibly. Make sure to subscribe. But today we got some... Hit that bell.
Follow the social.
Ring a ding ding. Crack the
Socials.
Liberty bells, baby. Because it is 4th of July.
It is 4th of July. Most of us are geared up.
Yeah.
We did kind of
Except for
not
somebody.
communicate that to Jacob, so that's
Yeah, I
kind of
didn't
on
know.
us.
I
But
didn't know he was going to be here. So
I mean, we could cut my arm. I bleed red, white, and blue. So,
Ah, there you go.
yeah, happy 4th of July, though, everybody.
yeah, like we said, the socials are Speaking Sporadically on Instagram and TikTok. We got to get on Isaiah to get some stuff up.
I
Right?
know.
He
I
keeps
don't know
talking.
what
He keeps
been
like,
doing, bro.
dude, I'm cooking up some stuff. I'm done being lazy. I got free time now. I do it. I'm like, all right, bet.
He,
Nothing. And then
Just silent for
yeah,
the
and
next
then-
month.
And then like, wait a couple weeks. I'm like,
So you're going to
he's like, dude, yeah, dude, I'm all over. Like,
Dude,
I'm been
he
working
told me
out.
he's like I got 5. They're like 95% the weight done, bro, and they're straight gas. I mean, they're peanuts and Coke like next level. And I'm like, all right,
okay.
I'm ready to watch them.
Still waiting on it.
Still waiting. Oh, that's fine.
That's crazy. But I think the main topic of our pod today
We're gonna
is.
introduce our guests here real quick.
Oh yeah.
We got two phenomenal guests on, and they know how to say their names, so we're gonna let them.
You can introduce yourself however you want.
I'm Jack Holthouse.
Jack's been on before. Do you know your episode?
No, I don't remember off the top of my head.
It was audio only still though, right?
Nah.
Or
yeah,
were
it
we
was still
filming?
audio
We're
only.
in your basement.
It was
Yeah.
in your basement,
Yeah.
so.
So
Yeah,
Jack
it's
has
just
been on.
audio.
It was a while ago, but he has been on.
So they one of the
Long
OGs.
time listener, first time watcher. First time.
Second time
First time.
recorder.
Second,
how would you say that?
Second time recorder.
Recorder?
First time on camera.
Yeah, let's go with
Yeah.
that. That works.
A little 1-2-1.
And then we got another friend that we've been trying to get on for a while here.
Yep, my name's Ashton Calcutt. I was supposed to be on about 30 episodes ago with my brother Sam.
Not 30, not 30.
Not
But
30. 30's a while.
Yeah.
Really?
That's been a while.
30 was
It's like half a year.
November.
That's like pre-Mama
70,
Tribe.
bro. Yeah.
It was winter.
Yeah, what was like episode 70 region?
Yeah. Oh, we're glad we got you on now. for
Yep, first
sure.
time.
For sure.
Didn't watch it for a long time.
Yeah, but as Devin was saying, so all of us actually went to scout camp about 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, 2
Yep.
weeks ago.
So, I mean, obviously, scout camp, you know how we are. We racked up some stories.
Oh, always.
So-
Always wrap-ups.
And we've talked about Scout Camp before, but we're going to try to keep it centralized on what we did this week. That's different than past weeks. So to refresh you, did we say the camp last time?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
For
if
Luke and Jacob? I guess if you guys listened to it, you guys might remember.
I haven't listened to the last one.
We might have. I don't think so, though.
All right, we'll just keep it.
We're going to keep it under wraps.
Yeah, we'll just keep it
Yeah.
ambiguous, right? No. No, it's
Anonymous?
Ambiguous.
Anonymous. And then
Anonymous.
All right, yeah.
ambiguous, Either way.
Well, so we'll just call it Scout Camp.
Pseudonymous.
Who? Is that a word?
What does it mean?
Cinnamon?
It's like when you have a pseudonym as like Dr. Seuss. Like the Dr. Seuss is a pseudonym.
Oh, a pseudonym.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, got it.
Under a pseudonym is called being pseudonymous.
Is that really?
Big word.
Big
I
words.
didn't know that.
No, that means we have to give it a name. Scout Camp.
Yeah, we'll just call it Scout Camp. So who wants to kick us off?
It's a week-long vacation.
Let's start. Let's go chronologically. So let's start
Sunday
from the
morning,
beginning.
11 a.m. Meet at the parking lot.
It's step by step.
Absolutely rip-roaring tired.
Mm-hmm.
Show up with sunglasses on, just like I did the year before.
No class A.
No class A.
No class A. No nothing.
But
We're professionals.
thanks, Jacob. Appreciate.
We're professionals.
But like, yeah, just meet up at the parking lot, load up the trailer.
It was a normal start. Normal
Normal
start. to the
start.
week.
Nothing really crazy happened on the way
Nothing special
over.
Sunday.
Oh, we saw the Google car when we stopped for lunch.
Yeah,
we
we
did
did.
see the
That
Google
was
car.
cool.
That was kind of
It
cool.
was at the other gas station.
Yeah.
Monday. What happened Monday?
Well, we ain't done with
What did we
Sunday.
do? Yeah, we're not done with Sunday.
what
yet.
else went Sunday?
We gotta get to camp.
What else went Sunday, bro?
When we got to when we got to camp, we had 3 scouts who did not have their paperwork filled out right.
Oh, yes.
I forgot
So
about that.
gave them my keys, and they
Yeah.
Took
drove
your
all-
car.
drove all the way back.
Hour 40, 45.
Hour
An
30.
hour-
30.
yeah,
If
hour,
you're
30
quick.
minutes, if you're
If you're quick.
if you
That's-
ain't
that's
making
constant,
no
too.
stops,
That's-
stops,
that is, yeah.
and then they got their paperwork signed by
We have a scout
By
whose
scout's
dad is a
dad.
doctor.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So he like redid all the physicals and like signed off the papers.
just signed off on them.
And they came back and they were back by
Same
7
night,
o'clock.
back- Yeah.
Same day, and then got my car filled up
For
Thanks.
free?
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I realized that my paperwork was like last year's, not the updated one, but he still
Mm.
he
Mm.
still
Don't look
accepted it.
backwards.
So
Yeah.
Change a few dates.
Little white out.
I'm not saying I did that because it was actually new this year. Previously, I
This
have
year.
used an old one and changed the dates, but you know.
Always double check your paperwork.
Yes, this is a great life lesson.
Good PSA.
Yeah. Look through it all. That was like the first night.
That was-
And opening
that was-
campfire wasn't anything
It was.
special.
It never is. Not there.
Which is literally just a little gathering that they do to
They have a
start the
tiny
week.
fire.
Yeah, and they do like some skits or whatever, but
and it's kind of dumb usually and really
No-
cheesy
yeah.
and ugh.
but
nothing
they get
special
paid for
there.
it, so it's all right.
No, not really. I mean, food was. I'm just gonna make this note now. Food was significantly better than last year.
Kind of
I thought
bus.
so too.
I thought it was pretty on par with last year. Both were good.
They're good. I,
I-
mean, it's better than what it was
Yeah, I would-
down
by the,
south.
by the
so-
time I finished all the whole meal, I was pretty full, and it tasted good, and
Should have got some ASMR on that.
I was quite satisfied most meals. So
Yeah, it was fine.
yes, I think
Yeah.
the meals were good this year.
Not pre-steamed
Monday.
or anything.
I
Monday.
only had-
Wake up. Matt does the call.
Oh, here
We get
you go.
everyone like around.
You guys had a great addition on Monday, didn't you?
Yes, we did. I guess. No, we lied.
Is that when you showed up? I don't even.
Yeah, that's when
Okay.
you showed
Oh,
up.
Yeah.
showed up late.
Showed up late.
No
'cause
bath
he's a
towel.
slacker.
On time.
It was like 9:30. Yeah, it was on his time.
Nothing special Monday though.
Not really.
Just classes and
Kids were at classes all day.
Yeah.
Came back and took a fat nap in the zero grav.
Very nice.
Very nice. Very
Very
nice.
nice.
I can say I'm probably the one that slept the most all that week.
That's
you
fair.
always you do that everywhere,
that's
bro.
everywhere.
Complete side note: this man can just sleep. He gets up, he'll eat, and he'll go back to bed.
I'm like
He's like a bear.
He did go into hibernation a few
Yeah.
times.
Yeah, one time at the. Can we just like insert a clip of that video?
if we can, that'd be funny.
As we start doing
Insert
that,
right
as
there.
We start
So
doing that, it
how
just,
did
like,
that
slowly
meme even
pans in.
start? It was I think Ashton showed that meme.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one
we were
time.
at just a meeting.
Yeah,
We were,
Yeah.
we were learning how to like set up the tents and everything for the newbies, and I was like, "Hey, have you seen this video yet?" And I showed it, and
It's just a
all a
video
sudden
of a
we just
seal.
see- all of a sudden we just
Seal
started doing this.
Now we do it all the time because I like around that same time I was or I had a hilarious video of a seal doing the same thing, but it was like a meme. It was like me at 3 a.m. in front of the fridge, and it's just a seal like slapping his gut, and it's like I do the exact
lean
thing.
back, lean
I whip
back.
open those doors, you lean back, and you just tap your gut. You're just like.
What do I want? What do I
That looks good.
Question.
Literally,
So we related on the seal videos, and they were funny.
it was funny.
And that was like our call. Like we would walk by after we'd get done with breakfast or something, and Ashton would be at a class, his merit badge class. We would see him. We would just go, and then he would look at us and right in front of the counselors. It was so funny.
And just kind of confuse them.
Yeah.
Just a lot of it.
Just a little bit. a lot.
So
Quality.
Tuesday, Monday dinner, and then
Nothing
Tues-
special.
Tuesday was normal too.
heading
Tuesday dinner. That was when we had the weird.
Oh, the chicken, like cordon
Actually,
bleu type of deal.
Back to
Yeah.
Monday. Back to Monday. We got to go back to the best breakfast we had all week, which was the biscuits and gravy.
It was good.
Bro, I enjoyed the casserole. Am I the only one who didn't?
The casserole was
I'm-
good.
I enjoyed the
like
hash
that.
brown
I'll
casserole.
pass. It's
It was
fine.
it was okay.
It was.
I thought
they-
it was good.
They slopped everything together, and that's kind of what it
Huh?
is.
I was kind of a big fan of it. It was good.
Well, it was mostly the fact that there was as much as you could eat. So
Luke likes his sloppy.
I do indeed like them sloppy. Sloppy wings. That's mostly. That's mostly it, yeah.
7
Yeah, we
Eleven
had
fish
like 4
lovers.
servings of that.
Yeah, I know. Jack and I both had like 4 servings of the hash brown.
Well, no. Monday's when you went to town, right?
Yeah.
The very first meal.
yeah.
We went and
No,
got
the very
ice.
first lunch.
Very first
lunch. So we got there Sunday. We eat supper there. We woke up next morning, breakfast. It was lunch. We got to lunch. We get there.
Okay, so like for reference though, like the lunches are like just cold packed in coolers and they're brought. Since the camp is so big, they do it in 2 different things.
They separated for the 2 different halves of camp.
Well, it would fit, but you could lose your hat. Whatever. But like they deliver it to 2 different places, and you pick up your lunch or eat your lunch at 2 different places. So like ours was like really close, but like they only had 21 meals.
Yeah, we whip it open. We have
now.
26 people in our
26
troop,
people.
including adults. So we go up to the cooler, like ready to get some food because me and Luke were a little later. Whip it open.
Empty.
And we're like,
is empty.
Scouts, did you guys eat our food? And they're like, no, everyone just had one. We flip it, and at the top, we started reading the tape, and it's like troop 355 because that's what we are. And then it said like 21, and we're like,
Nuh-uh.
Said,
we
like-
have 21 scouts, 5 adults. So what is this?
Not enough food.
So yeah,
No food.
And we thought it said 21A on the top, and we thought it meant like, oh, there must be a second cooler.
Yeah.
There wasn't a second cooler. It was just the half that we were on.
21.5 and all that.
We're on Armstrong side of the
Yeah.
camp.
yeah. So
About 4 mile walk.
I'm trying to think what I did because obviously there's still sides left because they usually give you a bunch of like
Of, like,
fruits and
vegetables.
oranges and vegetables
the
extra.
first day was ham sandwiches and like
Yeah, there were.
That's what I
A lot of-
remember
lot of the
because
fruit was
they
left.
ate all of our ham sandwiches, so I had like 9 oranges to sustain myself.
Yeah, because they had tater tots too. No one wanted the terrible tater tots, so that's what we had to eat. So we're like, we grabbed like 4 packs of gross, like
Cold,
baked,
greasy
cold
tater
tater
tots.
tots.
Kind of slimy.
Yeah, so that's what we had to choke
Wrapped
down.
in tin foil.
yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah.
tinfoil was
Yeah.
warm, but the tater tots weren't.
Oh,
yeah,
goodness.
I don't know how they did it. They did it.
So I must have forced a couple down and eat some fruit because that's all I had for lunch.
I mean,
but
you got to think we get fed there at 1 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like at that point
So
you're only
it's-
5 hours from dinner.
You ain't far from dinner.
But still, like it was. I was left hungry.
yeah.
But I went to town for ice. Jack and I went to town for
Yes,
ice.
We went to town for
and
ice.
this is closer to like a bigger town, so it's only like 10 minutes. You can be like in a
Yeah.
metropolis.
basically.
In the center of this metropolis was my version of the Golden Arches. A white sign with black lettering. It says Chipotle.
Now,
Go ahead.
I'm trying to think. Was Tuesday the Weather Rock, or was that Wednesday?
That was
Tuesday.
No,
Whoa.
Wednesday.
I had to be Wednesday, blood.
Was it?
Had to be.
Because I had
Yeah, it was
outbound,
Wednesday because
so
that was
everybody
left
was
their
available. Was it?
outbounds.
No, it was Thursday then.
No,
Was
no, it wasn't.
No,
Had
because
to be Tuesday then.
yeah, we had it way before
It
I
had to
left.
be Tuesday.
No way we had it that early.
We had
bro.
it June 20th. That was Tuesday.
That
I'm
was
telling you,
Tuesday.
man.
wasn't there on Thursday.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
there on Thursday.
We
No,
did it
had it
Tuesday
June
afternoon.
22nd,
Yeah.
We
bro.
did it with.
Bro, I have the original, like one of the first pictures from the weekend. That is June 20th.
I have an original picture.
That's an original picture from that afternoon.
Can we get a close
Let
up
me
on that?
inspect that.
Yeah, you can edit
Because
it
I
in.
literally took a picture on my phone that says June 22nd.
I think you just got it.
No,
late.
it wouldn't have been Thursday.
It wasn't Thursday. We had it a
that was
majority
an
of the
old
week.
photo, I guess. I think that might have been when you texted me to take a picture of it. Yeah, June 20th.
Yeah, and then there's the
Yeah, because
video.
I was getting it out of the
Devious trip
ravine.
up the hill.
Yeah, really?
Weather Rock, let's break it down. We got to go. I mean, they probably sitting here like, what the hell are they talking
Yeah,
about?
what's a
All right,
Weather
we're,
Rock, huh?
we're going to start from the very beginning. I mean, I wasn't on the
We gonna roll
excavation
it back?
crew, but
You got to roll it all the way back.
Roll it all the way
like
back.
that. I like that.
Bottom shot.
All right, all the way from the bottom.
From the hole.
No, I was going to let you have it. I was just going to go with you. Yeah, you can have it. Yeah.
Hey, musical
So, yeah,
mics.
let's take it back.
How far are we
At
going?
the beginning of dawn. No. So,
When life
We-
was simple.
yeah, we
and
didn't
man
invent
cared about
a
rock.
weather rock, right? That is
Weather
that's a
has
whole like scouting kind of
Tradition.
outdoorsy meme, I guess.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Thing to do.
It's a way of telling the weather.
Landmark,
Yes.
pretty much.
Yeah, and it's kind of, I don't want to say common, but people know about it if you do camping and scouting. So a while back ago, I don't remember when our troop first did one.
I think it
we
was
were
like
there.
2018, maybe 2017.
I mean, that might have been the first one I remembered. But anyway, what a weather rock is you get the
big rock.
Freaking rock, or you can do a log, weather log, and you hang it by a tripod. And you put a rope and it sits there and it dangles, and then it's supposed to. It's like a joke. It's kind of corny. It's supposed to tell the weather. So like, and usually you put a sign, which we have a sign where it's like, if rock is wet, rain. If rock is white, snow. And then a whole bunch of rock is hot and all this or whatever. And the funny one is at the very bottom. I think someone did this on purpose. I hope they just wrote, if rock is wet but sunny out, dog is looses. And it took me a while. I'm like, oh, the dog's loose. The dog peed on the rock. But then I'm like, dog is looses. I'm like, I think hopefully they tried that to purposely have terrible grammar for it to be funny. But that was funny.
Yeah.
So
It's just bad grammar.
yeah.
That's what I'm putting down too.
Classic.
But so what sparked this was we had camp inspections and at the camp we went to before, we actually did what's called a gateway, which is what it sounds like. You would build some type of door structure, or gateway, or arch over.
At the old camp, it made sense because we only had a 10-foot wide.
Yeah, it was
opening,
an actual path. The camp we stay at now is literally like, we're almost like in like I don't want to say the ditch of the path, but we have an entire
It's like a half
side
moon
open.
type seat.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's a
it is
half moon.
It's
with-
all
the
open.
road is like the flat part, and it's a big half moon. What Logan keeps telling me is that there used to be a house there, like the camp director's house was back here on that edge, and that explains why. Because then there, that little hill that was an old septic tank and stuff like that. So that's why it's as open as it is.
Okay. But yeah, so like there's no good place to put a gateway unless we make it 30, 40 yards.
30 or 40 yards long.
It's pretty big.
So we're like, okay. So we need something to fill up this space because we had like trailers here to like slowly shorten it. So we got encouraged one day and we had built, or I guess mainly I built a gateway because none of the kids knew how. And hopefully some walked around and they learned something.
I think Dylan was really taking notes, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely some of them were.
But I built a gateway, and then we wanted to build a weather rock because we still had the original piece of paper that had.
I mean, that thing is like curved at the edges. It's browning now.
Yeah.
It's been in the trailer for.
Like a Ziploc bag.
Yeah, it's in like a gallon Ziploc bag, so it's like
just in a
airtight.
Ziploc bag.
To protect it from the weather, bro.
yeah. So we still had that, so we're like, let's
weather
make
bag.
a weather rock. So I start building the gateway, and I built a tripod for the weather rock, and I sent us a few kids out to find a rock, and they're like, all right, let's go. They go jump
Run off into the woods.
No supervision.
Before I know it, like a half hour goes by, and I'm like, yo,
Where
are these guys? And then I think I asked someone, like, they're digging right now. I'm like, huh? Let's just get a rock. They're like, they're digging. I'm like, all right. So I went down, I walked to go investigate it, and I get there, and I'm like, golly, they've dug. Because, only a 10% of the rock was out of the ground, and they had to dig out the rest of this. Like, we didn't realize how big it was. So we started digging. So you'd walk up, and it was literally like a 1.5 foot deep hole,
Crater.
of a crater of this rock with this massive rock sitting in it. And I'm like, God, well, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun. And then that is where it all started, which it is a great memory. It is hilarious. So we worked on this thing for like
an hour and a half at least.
No, it was like
2
3,
hours.
bro.
With the help of
By the time you guys got there, it might have been an hour and a half. But when I was down there helping them dig and we were trying to get it out and then get it finally, we probably spent a half hour, 45 minutes just trying to get it out of the crater it was in.
I was there from when they were pulling it up out of the ground.
Yeah, you got there
Trying
probably
to tie it
10,
up.
15 minutes after I got there. Because I remember I'm just sitting down there, taking my normal cat naps, and someone's like, Jacob, we need some help getting this rock out of the ground. I'm like, my gosh, guys, it's just a rock. And I finally walk down there, and I'm like,
That's not just a rotor. It's a rock.
that's a rock.
It's a weather rock.
Our biggest problem was, we obviously first we're like, all right, we're going to tie a string to it and, give us the most men we can, putting the most force possible to get it out. But time after time, the string just broke.
Thunk, thunk. Like, we
Destroyed.
weren't even pulling.
It wasn't even like it was the knot coming undone.
It
The
was
rope was
literally
just
the
snapping in half.
It was the sheer
and
weight
this
of
is
It's
the
a bunch of
rock.
Boy Scouts. We're not going to have a problem with the knot.
And this is big, like quarter thickness or diameter, like real. It's not nylon. What is it?
No, it's like old school, like
it's hemp
hand
rope.
woven
Straw or
rope.
something.
Hemp.
Yeah.
So it's like it is strong stuff. It has been around forever, and it was just snapping like nothing. And then other times we'd get around the rock, we pull it, and it would slip right off. Because that was probably the hardest part, getting it out of the crater. And the second hardest part will come down a little bit later. And to set this up, this rock was in a riverbed or a brook. Like it's dry most of the time, but if it rains, it's a river. So if that tells you anything, it's in a valley.
More of a
So we
dip-
have
more
to
of a
go
dip.
up. We have to go up to get this thing out. Yeah.
Moving a like 300-pound rock.
Oh,
300,
more
bro.
More than that.
I weighed more than me.
I think it's
Easy.
5.
It was probably closer to 5.
Yes.
I had it on like 425 to 475.
It was huge. So we finally got there. Probably after an hour, like 45 minutes hour, we finally get it out of its crater. And like we were doing everything.
That was a celebration.
We were throwing shovels under this
Yes.
thing, and we would bend, and you would pull the shovel up, and it's in a 90-degree angle. And you're like,
bending bars, and we would do everything. Like we would like get 10 guys on it, go pull it, and then everyone, or we would have a few guys that would shove rocks in that little gap that we pulled it up from, so it wouldn't go back. Which is the birth of
E-brake.
a rock that
E-brake.
will soon be called E-brake.
It was supposed to be a counselor gift, but we never.
Yeah, I know. So we would kept like forcing it in.
Finally,
and-
the time we got it out, because I remember everyone's pulling, and I was on the very back of the rock.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, dude, I'm like, all right, we need to get. I slipped into the crater, like my legs got into the crater, and we just pushed. Like, I mean, it was life or death for me at that point. I was really scared. And we
coming back
finally,
now.
everyone plus me helped push it out. Oh my god!
finally got it to roll, and then we went crazy, and then we're like, that was just a start. That was just a start.
Well, and the thing is, we thought about like bringing it up the hill to the grass,
Yeah.
and then down the bridge again, just rolling it from there.
Yeah.
We're like, no, we're just gonna take it straight to the bridge and
Yeah.
up.
Well, that was like kind of my part because so we were always thinking the best way to do this, and like we could go up this immediate hill, and we would be at the same level of our campsite, and it would be easier to move. But we'd have to go through a bunch of brush, and it's like a pretty steep hill, and we'd have to really, because again, like the rope kept snapping when we just tried to pull it, so we didn't even know if it would. We're sitting there talking, and then I'm just like, I think I got who did I get? Was it Isaac? Me, Isaac, and no, it wasn't Dews.
It's probably Jacob, to be honest.
I'm not sure.
I might have been dues.
Dude,
I think it was Sabo. I think it was Sabo. I think it was me, Sabo, and Isaac. I just kind of grabbed them like, Isaac, help me. So there was basically 2 routes. We could go up this hill immediately, or we could take it, go down the riverbed a little more, and it would drop it, but we'd get to basically an opening path to go up to our camp. So if you're watching the video, camp here, rock here. We could either go here, or we could go like here, and then we have to go around, but it's flat, so like we had other options or whatever. And then so I just get Isaac and Sabo, I'm just like, yo, help me roll this. Because I kind of thought, like, let's just get this moving. I don't think we're going to go this way, and we were trying to think about it. And either way, we're going to have to go up a steep hill, so I just start rolling it. And it rolled. That was the easiest part for sure, going down that, because there was almost like steps to the when you're going down the river, so we'd get it and it would like hit that step and it would like tumble a few times on its own. We're like, yeah, baby, we're rolling now, we're cruising. So we get it there, and then we finally get to the bottom of the big valley. We're like, all right.
I mean, at that point, we still have another. I want to say
Probably
it's
20 feet up.
Yeah,
15,
not-
20
I don't know
feet
about
up.
20.
I was saying thinking 15 to 20 feet
15,
of elevation change for sure.
I think it's
Oh,
that much.
elevation change. I thought we were just
Elevation is
talking the
only
length
10
of the
foot.
trail.
Oh, no. I'm talking about elevation. I think if you
Elevation was probably like
Elevation
10 to
12 to
15.
15. Yeah.
10 to 15.
15 max, I think.
And not to mention, the biggest dude that could give us the most support under the rock
Didn't
is,
do
like,
anything.
supervising through Facebook Live or whatever.
I was recording for Facebook, for the Scouts Facebook. And then every time I started taking a video, Chase would just bust out some freaking cuss word. I'm like, I can't use this. Every time I start a video, you just drop an F-bomb or say shit. I'm just like, stop it, Chase. Or walk away from me so I can't hear you. But whatever.
At this stage, so right now we're going up. Like, what are you guys thinking of this like degree?
Probably like
45. No, not 45.
not 45.
About 7.
I'd
30.
say 20 to 25.
I think it was
It got
steeper than
steeper as
that.
we went.
Yeah.
It started
At
off
its
at like
steepest,
40,
it was
got
probably
to
like
Steepest, I think it was
35.
35 degrees, but I feel like if you averaged it out, it was 30, 25, 25, 30.
But this is the birth of e-brake right here.
Yeah, this is where e-brake got his name. So yeah, so obviously this is the biggest task is getting it up this hill, and obviously this rock is lopsided, so sometimes flipping it is harder than others just with how the weight is and where I don't know what you call them the turning point is, you know, because if you have to lift it up and really get over this big hump, you're lifting almost like all the weight, and other times it was easier. So start going. We tried the rope again a few times, tried to slide it up, not working. Rope slipping off, breaking ropes. We tried multiple ropes and splitting it up, and we tried pulling
wrapping
it
it
from multiple
from
angles,
2 different places,
and it just wasn't working. And then to one point, it was just a few of us that just got tired of it, and we just started brute forcing it. Like
we started taking turns.
Classic Boy Scout flipping. Like that was our motto too. Our whole concept was get as many hands on it as possible.
Oh, we started doing we tried.
Jacob tried.
So when I started telling people, I'm like, oh my guys, it's like rugby. Straighten the spines. I'm putting my hips into your, my shoulders into your tailbones, and I'm pushing you up, bro.
There's one time we were like trying to get it, and Jacob like grabs it. He's like, Isaac, rugby it, go, and they just like they put their shoulders right into our butts, and it just like shoots us forward. And we're like, no, stop, that's not working.
The funniest
We'd
thing
be
was
so good. We have it like 20% weight, and all of a sudden we're like, all right, we're starting to push. You guys on the rear end right here.
Yeah.
Bam, just all hands.
Yeah.
Rock.
no the unspoken hero that we haven't even mentioned, bro, is JB, bro.
Oh my.
Clutching with the e-brake every time.
He would,
I don't. Yeah, that is true. He was I think it would have been fine though. I think most of the time I don't think the rock was going anywhere, but it helped. It was a
pushing,
sense
all
of
of a sudden I
security.
slowed down,
so
I
you can
guess.
stand up and straighten your back out.
Well, no,
this rock-
even when we were having to lift up the heavier parts, he'd get it up underneath so we wouldn't have to lift it all the way back up if it fell down again. So, e-brake is kind of a rectangular rock, and
Probably
it
about
would-
40, 45 pounds, I'd say, about a plate.
yeah,
50
I'd say.
maybe a little more.
I'd say a little less, but
I don't think it's less than a plate, but go ahead.
He's just strong.
anyways, we'd take this rock and we'd throw it up right underneath it as close as we could get it anytime we'd make any progress. So that way we would have the assurance that if this rock starts to roll, it's not going to roll very far and we don't lose as much progress.
Yeah.
And
Also for safety. For safety.
Safe.
we have children. We have
Yeah.
children
Safety first.
pushing this.
Because not everyone could be on the rock, so you just have some kids that are like meandering around, 10 foot below the rock, 20 foot away, and we're like, guys, if this falls,
They're getting crushed.
It's gonna Indiana Jones you guys.
And bro, I give him so much respect to JB because all he did was get yelled at because we'd be pushing and we're like, and we start getting stuck. We're like, e-brake right now, Jesus Christ!
That was the funniest thing. We all just yell
pushing,
e-brake.
and all of a sudden I just look down. I see JB just on there, like all of us.
Yeah.
Pushing up,
tiny rock, just
pushing up a small rock
Yeah.
underneath a bigger rock.
Because with our motto, we had people pack. We had literally guys squeezing 2 fingers in to see if they could to try push. It was loaded. So JB had to literally army crawl, reach through, throw it under there and everything.
He was crawling underneath
Yeah.
people's legs.
Yeah. And we were like, look out, e-brake. And that was the funniest part. I think was when we all yell e-brake. We'd make the slightest progress. We'd go, e-brake, e-brake. And he'd be trying to get in there. We're like, JB, e-brake. And just rip it.
if anyone's in a vulnerable position, this man, he's looking up. All he can see is our legs and a 450-pound boulder in front of him.
Laying down on this hill, so he ain't moving fast. And we just trying to reach up there to get a rock. And any progress we made, we put it in.
He's in between our legs, so he's going to try and swerve. Oh.
All right, we got to pause it because our
Yeah,
time's
sorry.
running up. So we're gonna
We're
gonna go.
We're gonna run it right back.
Run a break, and then we'll be right back.
We'll explain the last legs of our journey.
We're running it. We're running it.
This is a quick start back. I was about to take a break.
The story's on a roll, bro.
On a roll. We can't stop now.
That's funny.
Boulder.
All right, so e-brake. We're getting e-brake in. That whole story. So any progress we made, how long do you think we spent just getting it up the hill? An
Maybe
hour? 45
Probably
minutes?
30 to 45 minutes at least.
Trying just to get it up this hill. Which again, if you go distance-wise, from the bottom of the hill to the top of the hill,
maybe
20 feet, 30 feet. we spent so much time moving it the slightest bit.
Okay, so we started at the base of the bridge at 306, and it was up towards the top and on the logs by 333.
So
Really? Okay.
So you guys were only at it for like 20 minutes, 25
so
minutes.
cut into the grass and the logs.
Yeah.
The engineering part.
Yeah.
So
So
this is when we got intuitive.
yes.
Yeah.
So we finally get to the top
Ingenuity.
after even again the slightest progress. E-brake, like any type of shove, we could get e-brake. That's how we guided our progress. Like, did e-brake move?
Yep.
We're making progress. Keep going. There were so many times too. Like, we'll just take a pause here. That I thought about quitting, and I think everyone else did too. Like, guys, there's no way.
I seen.
Well,
I seen
no,
Jacob,
there
like,
was some
put the weight
times where
down.
we
I'm like,
definitely all
he
thought
can't.
like this is
Especially-
not possible.
Especially when it was down at the bottom because
Yeah.
it was it was basically in a hole again at the bottom, so we had to push it up out of that tiny hole. But
Yeah, and we struggled that long just to get out of the hole it was in, and we're snapping ropes left and right. Like, we're like, bro, I don't think this is happening. So we
But-
finally get to the top.
on the logs, and picture
Well-
our method as the old Mickey Mouse train.
He's really bad at this, isn't he?
Who would
You're
we,
skipping like
You're skipping so many good parts.
the greatest leap of the journey, bro.
what do you mean?
No, I mean,
We're at the logs.
Getting him on, getting that rock
We got
onto
it.
the logs.
We're just.
Well, we got it up there, and we had some logs that they had been like working on. It gets to the top of the hill. We're like, all right, now we only have like 50 more feet to go, and it'll
Yeah.
be at its final resting place. Like, how are we gonna get this? We gonna keep rolling it? We rolled it like twice. It's like, no, it's not gonna roll. And we're like, roll. We had some like trees that they've been hacking on, practicing their wood cutting, and we're like, we have 3 logs. I bet we can balance this on 2 logs, and you can always have one moving and do it this Egyptian style,
Kind of
Yeah.
like the old Mickey
old
Mouse
school
train.
Egyptian style.
Just replaces tracks.
Mm-hmm. Just like that. So you could, in theory, push the rock, move the log, and you just could basically get to roll it, and it worked beautifully.
Now,
It
here's
took
our,
a
now,
little
here's our problem. Here's our problem. We got the rock, and we have the logs. We've been having trouble getting this rock up a 30-degree plane. Now we need it to go completely vertical.
a good 6, 7, 8 inches. A solid log. Like, these are big logs.
Probably that much.
And
Yeah.
that's probably the most hands we had on the rock at one time.
Yeah.
I think
we
even I lifted.
You
for
guys
that.
remember screaming?
oh yeah,
Because we started pushing and everyone started
that was that.
Twenty
That's
people
the,
just-
that's the
Oh.
most memorable thing of the whole thing for me.
Yes.
We're pushing. That's probably the only time out of the whole experience I actually exerted like 100% of my possible force, bro. Because
That's when I threw my back out. The next 2 days, my back was sore. I'm not even joking. I'm not trying to sound old. I literally, and it took me a little bit. Like, next morning I woke up, my upper back was hurting. I'm like, dude, did I sleep wrong? I'm like, the rock. I definitely hurt my back. But yeah, I do remember now you say that because it was kind of fun and awesome to see because we were getting on it. We're going like, God, and everyone started grunting and like I was yelling too, but I was like, yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah.
This is such.
and it wasn't like a
Such a good
cheesy
time.
scream where it's just like, oh, you're screaming. No,
Yeah.
dude, like you're screaming because what you're doing is actually difficult.
The amount of testosterone just rubbed
Yes.
through our
Oh
brains.
my gosh, bro.
'Cause-
12-year-old Marines.
The easy part was we picked up one side and we put the log under. So it's kind of, on a 45-degree angle. The hard part was picking up the other heavier side because remember it's not symmetrical,
Lopsided.
it's lopsided. So we had to pick it up and did we push it forward when we get on top or slid a log under? I don't
I
remember.
think we just pushed it up like
onto
Yeah.
two.
onto
Yeah,
two
I think
like
so
that.
we had to pick this thing up and then push it forward and that was when I knew we could do it.
That's when we got our assembly line going. It would get
Yeah.
you have to gap the log, and then you get a nice push, and then we'd have log movers on both ends. So we'd have like the 3-man push crew, and then our 2-man log like exchanging crew.
And it's like we realized we could use 2 logs because like we started figuring out spaces and everything.
Mm-hmm. So, and we found the sweet spot was when we almost. So again, this rock lopsided. It almost had a more of a point on one side. The point that the part that we were pushing forward, the front side, it kind of went down to a point.
Yeah,
And we found that the best way to get that is when that point would
it would
hit
start
the rock.
to drop. Yeah,
It would start to drop, which would be
Just a
scary
little
every
bit.
time because if
It
this
was-
rock
yeah.
goes down, we'll have to relift
Then we have
it.
to back it up, and we lose
Yeah,
the progress.
We'd have to the front would tip and then it would hit that the log and it would kind of lift itself back up. So you had to have probably a foot gap.
Foot and a half.
Yeah, it kept going more because we started a real small gap, but it was like not working. We could barely move
Yeah, we
it,
could
and I'm
barely
like,
move
guys,
it.
bigger gaps, bigger gaps.
Bigger gaps.
So they opened it up, and then we really got in the rhythm. And because Sabo was the log layer.
Yeah,
up
he
front,
was.
so
He was.
he started to get that rhythm. He could get that distance, and you could feel it because we were pushing, and you could feel it, right? I could feel it when it would go down, but then it would hit, and it would almost like carry itself up.
You'd put no force into it and it moved.
Yeah, it would roll up.
Yeah.
And we moved it for probably 60 feet.
Yeah, I'd say
Good 60.
at least 50, 60, yeah.
60, like a decent bit to get it where we...
Close to the road.
Yeah, close to the road where we think we were going to...
So people could see it.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this. We probably average like 1-2 miles an hour, which is
Maybe.
pretty impressive.
Yeah.
For a 400 pound.
For moving a 450-pound rock.
Yeah, no kidding.
We definitely we have some pictures and stuff, too. We could
Yeah.
probably...
Yeah, we got pictures.
I'm not sure if we'll clip them in, but it might be like on the thumbnail and stuff. So...
Lord knows we can't use the videos.
Yeah, really. Unless we mute them.
We can put some music behind it.
Okay,
Kevin
yeah.
We
McLeod,
could mute them and then...
spinning monkeys.
Because I know you have a...
Put some Rocky music behind it. The fighting scene the whole way. Oh.
Because I think me and Jacob have a video of like you filmed the whole distance the rock traveled. That might be good to put in.
Yeah.
So you guys
that'd
could
be a good one.
Try to visualize how long and you could see the angles and stuff. But yeah, we
All right, this is where the rock started. Right in that hole. This is where it went. Cleared a little bit of
finally got to our location. Then we went over and grabbed my tripod that I made, and we're like,
This isn't gonna work.
the sticks are probably like 2 inches in diameter.
2 inches at
Maybe.
max.
Maybe.
Nah, I mean 2 inches isn't that big. They were about that big.
All right.
So they were about 2 inches in diameter.
PG.
And we're like, Luke, test this, because we're like,
Luke
we're
test.
Like, all right, this rock is probably about double, maybe a little under Luke. Because we did the math, we're like, we guessed, man, it's probably a me and Luke. So Luke, hop on this. Luke, he put his weight on it, and it held, but it was starting.
It was
to sink,
creaking.
yeah,
It was
creaking.
groaning. I was like,
I don't know about
it might be able to do it if it sets its feet real well.
Because this is the point where we wanted to hang the rock. By the way, we wanted to get it dangling by ropes, which is another problem. If the ropes keep snapping, we try to pull it, we're gonna have.
How are you going to hoist it up?
Yeah, what
Literally.
ropes are going to hold it? So that was one of the problems we were thinking of. Another one was, could we lift this thing? Because like,
Yes.
when we do this, we'd have to vertically lift this thing, like no incline, just straight guys all around. That is one nice thing. We could have guys all the way around, because when we were flipping it, we could only have one side. So we got as many hands once again all around it, and we're like 3, 2, 1. We got it up. We got it up.
It actually moved pretty easily.
It wasn't too bad. It wasn't like when we were
I was
yelling.
not like
We weren't
100%
yelling.
exerting that time.
I mean, I got a
but-
video of it, and it moved like 6 inches.
I'll take 6
It didn't move.
I mean, it was up. It was up enough to
it was
like
up enough.
we could have
got
threaded some rope
ropes
and
underneath, but
hung it if we really had the right tools.
But then we'd have to sit there and hold it up to wait for the people to tie and loop it around.
yeah.
So we're like, okay, maybe we just pause on this, because at this point we're all dead. Like, again, this is middle of the day,
Heat of the
hottest,
day.
one of the hottest weeks
Yeah,
we've
so
had
that
this
was probably
summer.
the hottest
Humid,
day. of
Super
the whole
humid.
week.
So we were out sweating like crazy, all tired, and we're like, okay, maybe we just let it sit here for now. And maybe
On the
we'll do something
logs.
later.
We just let it sit on the logs.
Which our plan was to do something with it, either to, because it sounds terrible, one of our goals was to make it as big of a pain as possible for the counselors, because we didn't want it to move. So we wanted to just stay like, how could this be difficult? Because another part, the biggest thing I'd say about a weather rock, the whole point to do it is to prove a feat of strength, basically.
Yeah.
Right? To basically, you want people to walk by and be like, whoa,
What?
how
is
did they
that?
do
Where
that?
is this coming
You
from?
know,
Bob Kitta.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where the whole troop is supposed to rally together and put all their strengths together and show what they can do. So we wanted to obviously do that, but so we were throwing around a bunch of ideas, whether to put it like flip logs vertically or do like a tower. One we were real close to was doing like a log cabin style. We have 2 logs one way, and then you put them 2 perpendicular, and you go up. Because we could basically do that in steps, where, you know, the rock is on the 2 logs right now. We lift up one side, put the log under, and then we'd have to do the grunt lift again, where we don't get on it, flip the other side, get the log under. We do that a couple times to get it nice and high. But in the end, we didn't really do anything.
No,
with
we
it.
just left.
It was
Just
fine,
left
like it
it.
was though.
It was.
Yeah.
It-
I got one question. What did you guys do with the rock at the end of the week? Because
We
I
just kind of
on-
left it.
You left
we
on
just-
Thursday.
We left it sitting on the logs when we
We-
drove away. Yeah, it was on the logs yet.
That's
But we took down
legendary.
the tripod and everything, and it's just the rock.
I thought we moved it all the way to the edge of the woods.
No. We talked about moving
Talked
it there.
about it because we didn't want them to take it. Like, at least the biggest problem I had is I can't remember who I heard it from. I think it might have been your dad that said it, because he was like, the biggest problem was the guy who mowed the lawns. Like, they don't really. I don't think the council's really gonna care it's a rock, but like, if this rock is sitting in the middle of a grass spot, that dude's gonna have to mow around it, or like weed whack where he can't mow because it's getting real tall. So we're like, that's probably it's going to be their biggest reason to move it. So we thought about putting it on the edge of the woods so we could still have it for next year. Be real easy. We'll relog
Roll
it
it back out.
But yeah, we just left it.
It was cool.
And hopefully next year when we come back. it's
Okay,
sitting
we
right
really
there.
got to like speed this story up because we have so much more week to talk about.
Yeah, you're right. We
But,
on
like-
Tuesday.
Let's just quickly mention the whole cult they started.
Oh, yeah.
that was
one of the funniest parts.
It was so good.
So I don't know even who
We started with
whole
the
worship.
chant. They were like, I was like, when you guys do the chant, you guys got to do something like involving this freaking rock because it's what
Yeah.
you guys spent all afternoon on. And in my idea, I was like, you got to do the SpongeBob. It's not
pose.
just a boulder; it's a weather rock.
Yeah.
And that's what they did.
And then it kind of grew from
Escalated
there.
really quickly.
And it like escalated in how much we worshipped it, and also the camp, which is another
Yeah.
story.
Oh my goodness!
It's actually amazing how much of a legend that rock became. But it kind of started like we started worshiping this rock, not seriously, obviously.
Just chanting.
Just chanting the rock, hail the rock, hail the rock. And then Doozy
Somehow became like the priest or something.
yeah.
He was the pastor.
Everybody loves Doozy, so we put a white towel around him, and we gave him a white bowl, and he put the bowl on his head just to set him apart. And he would stand in front of it, and he'd be like, "Brethren,
Join me.
join me,
Join me in the
Worship the
sacred
rock.
psalms.
And we have videos of this too. Everyone runs over and they get on their hands and knees and they start bowing to the rock. It honestly, me
They're
and
like prostrating themselves out on the
Well,
ground.
even the counselors got into it too.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They stroll by in the golf
At
cart.
this
and
point, me and Luke were like, "Okay, this is kind of weird. I'm gonna walk away."
No, and you and me were on the picnic tables, and they were doing it for like 30 seconds. I'm like, I gotta do something, and I put my hands down, like, the rock approves. And everyone stops.
Yeah, but the counselors drove by one time, and I think they saw it because I think someone said something to them, like,
Mm-hmm.
Somebody mentioned
and so they drove, and then we could hear them drive back because we were getting ready. Like, we were like, "Doozy, get the bucket, get this, everyone get your positions, blah blah blah," and we could hear it on the gravel path, the golf cart coming back. So we're like, "Assemble!" So everyone ran over, and then as they were driving by, Doozy the priest, he yelled something to them.
Join us.
Yeah, join us. And you see him on the golf cart, nail the brakes, like sliding the gravel. They all hop off and start bowing with it. And I was like,
It's
this is crazy.
working.
This is crazy. How we're literally getting them to join a cult. And then before we
About
knew
a
it,
rock.
yeah, about just a rock.
They could
It's a
smell
cool
what he was
rock.
cooking.
It's cool. I mean,
Which we washed it off too. We poured water on
Mhm.
the rags and it was red
It
color.
looked really good.
Pretty cool. But, and then along with that, dude, this rock spread like wildfire.
The
throughout
legend of the
camp.
rock was so fast.
Like, we would have like kids that would come and say like, "Yeah, there were kids in our merit badge classes talking about the famous rock and the cult rock," and I'm like, and like apparently all the counselors knew, and we would do a couple chants and stuff during the flag ceremonies and stuff. So like we were kind of spreading it out there, and people would drive by and see it. But before we knew it, like there were so many people that would like say "Hail the Rock" to us, and it was awesome.
They could smell what the rock
It was
Yeah.
so
Okay.
fast. Like, right after we did all this, we go to supper, and then I'm just sitting on like the chairs, like right by the outside the meach, and the other one of the
Which
other
is the
campers-
dining hall. The meach is
Meach
dining hall.
the dining hall. This other kid from outside of our troop, what we call him, everyone called him Cowboy. He comes up and he's like, "Yeah, I heard about that rock you guys moved up the hill," and I'm like,
And we're like,
"That was like 40 minutes ago, dude."
how do you know?
And like, I remember looking around like, who told him? And everyone's like, "No, no." We're like, "Jesus!" It was funny.
Yeah, I think it was Luke.
Probably was.
Probably that would make most sense. But
Yeah,
It was.
By the end of the week, we had like 3 troops come to our like half of their troops come to our campsite and just stare at the rock, and then they kind of left.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that was basically the legend of the rock. I know there's some other stories that we got to tell here in the next 14 minutes.
So-
but
14 minutes.
yeah, bro. We've been
All
talking
right.
We
about
might have
this.
to run
Power
a
through
third
this.
It
segment.
might have to be.
Little
So
special.
next we'll move on to probably
Wednesday.
Senate. What's Wednesday? Did we do anything
We
Wednesday?
cooked on
Wednesday
Wednesday.
Wednesday was outbound.
We had to cook, and we knew about it for 2 days. Then we did absolutely no prep work.
Well, we didn't know what we were expecting.
Yes,
kind
we
of.
did. We totally knew.
No, I knew what we were gonna eat, but I didn't know what they were gonna have cooked or how it was gonna be like delivered and everything. So yeah, Wednesday was to give the
Their
counselors-
outbound day. It was
Yeah.
one their outbound day, so they just kind of like did nothing.
They wanted to
essentially.
give the counselors a break, and so they sent us supper like in a big cooler again, and we'd have to prepare it and make it whatever.
which was super fun because I love the cooking at camp aspect.
Yeah, it
that
was
was fun.
I did enjoy that.
But continue.
But so we sit there and we got potatoes. Was
Like 15 pounds of
yeah,
potatoes.
like a lot of potatoes.
Yeah, just
that was
Then we
ridiculous
got
Whole potatoes.
yeah whole potatoes.
potatoes.
18. We probably got what? We got 8 pounds of onions, 8 pounds of green
8
peppers.
pounds of onions, 8 pounds of green onions.
We got 2 bags, 2 4-pound bags. I thought,
Yeah, you
and
might
then
be
an
right.
entire
but only
gallon
one,
size-
but only 2 pounds of ham.
yeah.
Whatever.
and then we got a gallon
Did you
size.
just do that?
Yeah, I think so. I think
All
my
right,
foot.
as long as it hasn't been. Like,
I think my foot just hit
Watch
it.
your feet, bro.
And then a gallon-sized
We'll run
Ziploc
back.
bag full of little salt packets.
No, that was in the trailer.
That was in the trailer?
That, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I thought
That
they
was
gave that to
that was
us.
our salt. And then when
I
you
was
got
gonna
one
say.
can of pineapple,
a big like
It was a
like
big
a
can.
big can.
gallon,
Like
yeah.
yeah.
can or whatever.
And they were like, "Yeah, just cook dinner."
I'm
Like, and we just this last year we had we'd taken all of our like ways to cook with charcoal, like
Yeah, we-
whatever you call that big trough that we'd put
Yeah.
charcoal in,
We
and it
took
has
all that
grates.
out.
We'd taken it out of the trailer for make room for cornhole boards because we play a lot of cornhole. But
Typical boy.
so we had to so we were like, okay, what are we gonna do? So we had metal trays. So we were like, all right, build up the fire, cook down. So we took embers from the fire and just shoveled them underneath these pans.
We'd have some rocks to give it some height,
elevation.
coals, and put the things on top. And we kind of also didn't really know what to do with our meal until we settled on basically a stir fry. We chopped it all up, mixed it all together, threw it in the pan.
And that was
we had
pretty
some
much
brown
it. And
sugar
brown
too.
sugar, which was I think the saving grace there.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I think it helps the
'Cause
flavor
it
for
kind of
sure.
glazed everything.
it was
Yeah.
super good. I
But-
would-
Yeah. So we didn't get the food till like 6. And
Oh
they
my
had
God,
all
that
this
was
prep
terrible.
work.
That was the
we
worst
weren't,
part
We
about
weren't
it.
eating till 8, which I think
At
we
least 7:30.
I think we said that to them. I think we told them,
Yeah.
like, hey, next year can we get a little earlier?
You give it to us at 4:30,
Yeah.
5 o'clock, because it takes an
It's a-
hour
yeah.
to cut and prep. And you got to think they start their lunch, they start dinner at 1 in the afternoon for the whole camp.
Yeah.
You can't expect us to make it in
Yeah.
half an hour.
half an hour.
So we chopped it all up. We would have to stir it every once in a while, obviously, and it took a while to cook, but honestly went really smooth. Like I had a lot of fun. I don't know about a lot of fun, but I had some fun. It was hot at some times.
It was
and
enjoyable.
Did a lot of work, but yeah.
Yeah, because we get a ton of hottest coals from the very bottom, and it would be very
Still very slow cooking, but like when you're cooking like 4-pound sheet trays of potatoes and
yeah.
It was really satisfying to see it thicken up too. That was one of my
Mhm.
best parts. So I was sitting there, I was stirring, and it was looking more like a stew and less of solid sitting
like
in liquid.
ingredients.
Yeah.
it all cooked down really well. The
Yeah.
vegetables, because they were frozen, they added a lot of moisture. So they cooked down really well and gave us all that extra moisture we definitely didn't add to the pan.
Yeah, and we had some oil in there. And
We had
Well, we
one-
found 3-year-old oil.
yeah,
It wasn't too dry though.
better than the 5-year-old and the 9-year-old.
Then,
oil.
no. The one was like 14 years
Yeah,
old.
yeah.
One was from
Yee.
09.
We kept finding newer ones. Like this one's only 10. Like,
This one's only 3 years
yeah.
old. Huzzah!
and we had one we put the pineapple juice in, and
That was the best one.
just everything in the dish absorbed like the pineapple sweetness, and that was very.
That was
a
the
very good
best
dish.
one.
I thought the one without it, but like still everything but the well, I don't know. It was really sweet. If you're into, I was liking. I like my meals sometimes like more salty or savory. Like
Yeah.
that, the pineapple one was super sweet. If you're a sweet person, you'll like it because it was super sugary.
I
and
thought it did a
pineapple-y
great
sweet.
job of having salty and sweet because the salt came through
I
still a
had no
lot. 'Cause we
salt.
added a lot of salt.
I had no salt on the pineapple one. I was just mainly all
I,
sweet there.
I thought it was the best, personally.
I'm very sensitive to salt, so I can taste salt pretty well.
I'm not. I used to pour gallons of salt on my stuff, and I just eat it.
What I really thought was the clutch was the Tabasco sauce. That
Yeah, he found halfway through the week. I was like, bro,
yeah,
you forgot you packed an entire Tabasco bottle?
Well, no, Caden brought it up with him whenever he came on Tuesday, so that's why. I
No,
got it in
Caden
the
came
middle
on
of the
Monday,
week.
but whatever. I thought your brother brought that.
Yeah, he asked for it just jokingly, and I said, "All right, yeah, well, I'll ask Mom if we have any." So she went out and got a whole bottle of Tabasco sauce, and we ate half that thing in that week.
Yeah.
And that I put some on.
A little
mine.
bit of
I
that
thought it
goes
really
a long
helped.
way, though.
I thought it really helped with that stir fry because otherwise it was a little bland.
It was missing flavor.
We whipped that bottle out in the meat.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Bro,
did.
it's just like the other guy. The guy who runs the girl troop, he's like their scoutmaster for the... He brings, like, not the small bottle, but, like, the medium-sized shaker bottle of Frank's. He brings
Frank's.
an entire bottle.
And everyone
Every
knows
week.
he does. Everyone knows, like, that's the guy that has
And he
the
just starts
Frank's.
passing it around.
Yeah.
It literally, like, lives in a corner of his backpack. Like, where you supposed to put a water bottle?
Frank's.
Water? Hot sauce.
Who needs that?
Hot sauce.
Yeah, but so we did that. Turned out good. Got the kids to do
mhm.
the dishes. Again, we didn't eat till like 8, but it was worth
It was fine.
Thursday.
Thursday.
Nothing crazy.
Not really.
Basic Thursday.
Basic day.
Classes.
Start of the second round of classes.
I decided to sleep in.
I think
Stay up to class.
That was every day, bro.
Oh, yeah.
No,
No,
we
no,
made
no.
him go to
Yeah.
breakfast,
Made
but then
him
he
go to
came right
breakfast.
back after breakfast and he just slept.
Yeah.
And then Friday.
Friday we had 2 pretty cool things. So there's a thing called a Dutch oven cook-off where
Yep.
Yeah.
It was for the adult leaders, so we
Yeah, it
had
was
something
well, it
to
was
do.
for the
leader
full
cook-off.
troop. I think it was for the full troop, but mainly adult leaders.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, obviously the kids aren't gonna crush this, but so what the Dutch oven is they're the big cast iron
Iron.
pots, like those. They're the big black
Big
pots
black
that have
pots.
the lids
Like
for 'em
big
and
heavy
stuff.
lids and stuff. Like it's very old school, like old fashioned type of deal.
Yeah, those are
a lot of
called
people
Dutch
actually
ovens.
don't use them anymore. So you gotta.
Yeah.
It's basically just cast iron, but whatever.
So he
I
had
thought they were fun to use. Though.
They were fun. It was nice to get those out again because a couple of them needed seasoning.
Yes,
so.
and that's
It
what
was
we-
a good.
yeah.
It was a good use of our afternoon. But
We had a cook-off, and so there was 2 different entries you could do. Is one was with the secret ingredient, which was bananas. So you had to make some type of dessert or dish with bananas, or you could go the other route, and it was just a
free-for-all.
any type of dish. And
We were the only troop who free.
yeah, we're the only one who did
Yeah.
the free for all,
Yeah,
and we absolutely totally won.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
we
Undoubtedly,
even
we
with
won.
the secret, even with the secret ingredient, we
Count them in. All those look pretty bad,
Yeah.
honestly.
No,
there's
The
some
banana bread
tried
was
'em.
burnt to a crisp.
It was a little burnt.
It was dry.
Oh, you weren't there.
You weren't there for
saying
that.
I was-
Listen,
Hey,
we'll
yo,
take
let's-
this. We'll take this.
wasn't
We'll go on a
there.
little journey
weren't there?
I
here.
wasn't there. I left at like 9.
Yeah, that's right. He left early.
This is a story.
Let's go
then,
on a
fellas.
food journey.
I didn't
here.
know you guys missed this. All right. So we set up and we kind of decided like, no, let's do not something with banana. Let's
So
just
we
do
let
free
Greg.
That's a hard
We
one
let
to do.
Greg like do recipes because apparently he's like the Dutch oven wizard.
Yeah.
So we're like, Greg, we'll let you kind of take the reins on this. Like he's just been following us around all week, which is fine. It's his first year, whatever.
I mean, he was
First
helping
year
doing
back.
stuff,
Yeah,
too.
he was helping out.
He helped
but-
out really well.
But we
We're
just
like,
told him,
yo,
like, this
find
is
a
all
recipe and like we'll do this together. He's like, I ain't gonna do it unless no one helps. I'm like, we'll help. So we were bored anyways. But
Yeah,
he
he let
bust
us on
out
this.
Friday. He's like, yeah, I think I want to do this cinnamon roll recipe.
Shows a picture of this massive cinnamon roll in the Dutch oven
This
with like a
this
glazed
is
cover.
one cinnamon roll.
Yes.
One cinnamon roll taking up the entire 12-inch pan.
Like they were like 12-inch across, and it was probably like 5 inches deep. 5
Oh
or
my
6
gosh.
inches deep.
So we're like,
Ridiculous.
Yes.
So he's like, I'll run out. I'll run
give you
to
the
town,
card.
grab the ingredients.
Get whatever.
So he did that. He came back, and then we started cooking up, making the glaze.
Yeah,
and
he
we
was
made-
back really fast. He made my trip look really slow.
No kidding.
What it was you could probably find it. It's just a frozen bread, and then you have a mix of like butter, maybe something else. And then you have
We melted that pound of
cinnamon.
butter
Yeah.
down.
You had a-
And then he rolled the bread out in the butter, and he like twisted it out, and then
and we
and
put
then he
it
just
in
kept
the
layering it in the
into
pot.
the pot.
and we put it in the mix of the brown sugar, cinnamon.
Powdered
the-
sugar.
Powdered sugar.
Yeah, powdered sugar. Not powdered sugar. That was just for
That
the
was for the
glaze.
icing.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
Yeah, because it was equal parts brown sugar, and then 2.
Let's say I was on
tablespoons
fire
of-
watch. You guys were doing the chefing, and I
Yeah.
was on fire watch.
So we did that, and you'd make it up, and we'd just slowly layer it in there and piece it together in the 2 Dutch ovens. And it was cool. Greg even showed us a picture he had, and it showed a calculation for heat and
Yes.
size of the pot.
And how many briquettes
Specific-
you
and how
need.
many briquettes. It's like
8 briquettes on the bottom and 17 on top gets you 350 degrees.
for a 12-inch Dutch oven. We're like,
That's got nerd.
Bro, where'd you find this
Somebody
at?
did the math for
Yeah.
That's got nerd emoji written all over it.
who
Yeah, it
did
does.
that? Who did all that work like 350 degrees? You know, all that math. But
Whatever.
no. But they did that, so we did that, and it was pretty close. It
Yeah.
worked. We had to add a couple more because some of them got cold or whatever.
Yeah.
But we threw them on, cooked.
Took
made
a long time for them to cook.
take a while.
because they like doubled in size too. These
Like it
things,
started out as like maybe that much,
Christ.
and it was
They
they were
were-
pretty much busting out the lids.
They were.
when we took
insane.
them all. When
They
we
were-
took the lids off.
They were leaking out almost. But once it cooled off, they settled.
And then
a
they
bit.
settled
We
down
mixed up
again.
the glaze, which was just like powdered sugar, cream cheese, milk.
Yeah, and you
Might have
heated
just
up
been those 3.
pretty
Yeah,
much.
it was-
We put a whole block of cream cheese in it, which I think was a saving grace for that, because it absolutely
Yeah, because
thickened it up.
Thickened it
more.
up, and then it spread out into the whole thing, and it soaked in. It was
It did a really good job.
Yeah.
He was like, "Well, we had just have a half a block here yet," and I'm like, well, "I just put it in.
throw it in.
Cream cheese is good. I mean, it's gonna add a lot." It was so good though. You put it on there. I have a picture, and it makes me want to make it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
But heated it up, mixed it up, and then we'd pour it on the cinnamon roll. And we must have made a bunch extra.
We
because-
made 2. We originally were like,
Yeah.
we got to have
Yeah,
one to
we-
bring up, and then
One
we
for the
got to have,
competition,
and then we'll like we'll make one for
Yeah.
ourselves.
Boss.
And it. Oh god, it was so good.
Yeah, but we had 2 full Dutch ovens, and then we kept pouring the glaze on. We'd have more, and they're like, just keep throwing it on. So like
Let's
there
use
was
it up.
literally big like puddles
Yeah,
of
It
the
was,
icing. And
if you
stuff
found a
in there.
good puddle pocket of the
If it
freaking
pulled
icing,
together,
yeah, in the right
and
spot, those were money pieces.
Oh, God.
money.
they just
And-
kind of melt in your mouth a little bit.
and it was phenomenal.
Well,
It was-
here's the real kicker. So we went up for dinner. It's family nights. There's like a lot of extra people just kind of walking around. And I look at Devin. I'm like, we ain't staying for closing campfire.
No, ain't no way.
So we sent the kids to closing campfire with your dad. I'm like, all right, we're going uptown.
Poor man.
Went uptown, got a gallon of ice cream,
Genius. This was the best.
cinnamon roll, big double, scoop of ice cream on there. Mm-hmm. That was, I think that was really what sent it over the
Oh
top.
yeah. Because you
Get the melting of the ice cream
Melting
along with
ice
how
cream,
soft it was already.
how soft it was, and it is just. Gosh, it
It
was
was
just
good.
doughy enough that it was like that is so good.
Perfectly baked, perfectly cool. Like it was still hot
It was-
because the
yeah, it was
cast
still
iron
warm.
held its heat for that long. But just a great thing.
Gosh, it was
So good.
and it turned out amazing.
Mm-hmm.
We had, like I said, we kept the one extra, and there's a little bit of extra from what we brought up for the competition, which again, like I called, is dumb because was there any award? Did they say who
There
won?
might have been, but we
There
didn't
may have
stay
been. We
for
didn't
the. We
stay
didn't
for it.
technically stay for that second round of awards. So
Well, they didn't have the awards.
yeah, what are they doing on Saturday morning?
They didn't have it, bro.
Oh, they didn't.
Not this year. But again, it might have been at closing campfire.
Well, whatever.
You know. But yeah, so I don't think
for
we didn't
nerds.
get an award for it or anything. We
Literally.
should've, but- so that is the Seminole story,
That was so good.
which
Oh,
we will make again. I know the timer is going to shut off.
Yeah.
So we're going to start
a third
one,
seg, and
and
we're
we're
gonna
at
hope to
third
finish it up.
the last. I think just the last
This is-
story.
This is the most important.
That's true, bro.
I can't even comprehend these. I can't even comprehend these.
We never do this.
This is definitely our longest in a row. Like with no breaks or anything. We're literally going on a straight hour
Of
and
just like
Of
10
just
minutes of
shooting
straight
it.
filming.
straight film.
Yeah.
But grind don't stop.
Final
Okay,
night.
so cinnamon roll. We got our cinnamon roll. Our bellies are full. Well, while we were serving up, dishing out that cinnamon roll, the boys were constructing a masterpiece.
So
A
this
true
started,
masterpiece.
this started earlier in the day. This is
Yeah.
while
Oh,
the
Jack,
cinnamon
this is your
rolls.
story. This is your story,
This is while the
Jack.
cinnamon rolls were still cooking. So throughout the week, we pull in random logs that we find from wherever we can in the camp, just nearby, and we cut them into usable pieces of wood. So, of course, our usable pieces of wood are 4 foot long.
Yeah.
And this is where it really starts to ramp up. We get a little construction crew going. We start sorting the logs, and then we start building.
By size, like which one's the
Wait,
biggest?
diameter.
this isn't
What's the best way? How can we construct it to get the
We were
biggest?
trying to figure out what angle we got to put these logs at, so the way it's nice and level all the way up. And we built the biggest log cabin I've built in a while, at
It's
least.
definitely the biggest one I've ever built.
Yeah.
So I started it,
And they have these things labeled, by the way. The logs
Yeah.
are like, this is bottom, this is
the
bottom
bottom
left
one.
log, this is bottom right, and like they go up by levels.
We separated it out,
Yeah.
and we had it built, we had it blueprinted basically, and then we got back. All the scouts actually got out of closing campfire a little early. They just
Like they would just kind of like
left.
leave off in pairs.
they just
Your dad organizes the funnier part. He just started going. He's like, guys, just start like walking out in pairs.
every,
Like you have to go to the
2 minutes,
restroom.
just go to the bathroom, go back to camp. Okay, and
Yeah,
It's kind of bad.
so
it's bad, but they weren't doing anything special.
no,
so.
they weren't doing anything that we weren't going to do better. So
Facts.
they all get back, and they start their masterpiece. Their magnum opus. They get all the extra logs that aren't quite burnt yet. They kind of bury them underneath the coals, so the way that they have a little more of a base.
yeah, because the best way to build the biggest fire for anyone out there, take it from us scouts, is you just get a ripping pile of coals and you just flatten it out.
You
So
don't want logs.
yeah, you do not want
Don't want
logs,
prior
anything
logs.
thick. You let it all burn down, but hopefully it's still hot, and you spread it all out, so it's literally just a flat bed of coals, and you can load stuff on top, and it's easy to build. You don't have to work around leaning stuff, and
Yeah.
it's still hot enough; it'll slowly rip up.
And Luke's the SPL, my brother, and he organized 4 guys, and they were all like in order. They had them spread out and ranged around the campfire ring that we had tripled in size. from
Yeah, we did.
what they intended.
Yeah. We sent kids out to go find rocks so we could make it bigger.
Yeah. And they start building, and it is, by the time they're done, it is right above eye level, basically.
I say 6 foot.
6
I was
foot.
gonna say like 6 foot of
6
wood
foot.
and built in like a pentagon structure.
Yeah.
It's a
It was-
5-sided
It's
structure.
not. It's not.
No, it was a 3.
It was
It was a-
it was
Was
a
it 3?
6-sided.
It was
6-sided. It was a hexagon.
Yeah, how would you describe? Yeah, because it was
Yeah.
it was a log cabin, but there was 3. So you
Yeah.
basically built a triangle, and then you'd rotate the triangle. What would that be? Not 45 degrees. It'd be half of 45, so 22.5 degrees, right?
Something
so
like
a slight turn. So basically, your point was in the middle of the side,
Yeah.
and then they went all the way up. So
all
it was
the way up.
It was like a
And
tri log cabin.
This
was
thing's
awesome.
already super tall, so it's not burning yet because the coals haven't caught these giant logs at
Takes
the bottom
time,
on
yep.
fire. So we have a decent sized pile of wood. So everybody starts loading up and chucking it into the top of this
so
thing.
in the center, just
Into the
filling it
center.
up.
Just load
It
it.
fills all the way up. I was getting worried because I was like, this thing doesn't have any air. It's not going to burn, is it? It's going to choke itself out. I was wrong.
I mean,
It-
at first you had
it
we
took
had
a solid 10 minutes before
To get
anything
some
started
light.
catching.
like and a lot
And
of
it was
work.
starting to get dark too, and it was like, gosh, I hope this works.
And then
Otherwise,
you
we
had
just-
like 2 troops over too. They're like here to see the fire.
Yeah.
They're just
Because-
like kind of watching you cook. And you guys bust out the lids, and I was like, "This pile of wood does
gonna-
not stand a
it
chance."
doesn't happen. It ain't nothing going
The
to stop
lid is
us.
a classic. It's basically what do you
Let
call them?
him
Like a
cook.
little.
It's just-
like 2-gallon, like those tubs or whatever.
They're just tub lids,
Yeah, the
Tupperware.
big old Tupperware lids.
Yeah.
Key to a fire: fuel,
15-foot wide.
air, fuel and
Heat.
air. The big and heat. But
Fuel, air,
obviously,
and
you got to
heat. Those
make
are
your own
3
heat.
pieces.
Yeah.
So they added a lot of air. Yeah, they added a lot of air though, and it like those coals kind of like.
Started
Have you ever
brightening
like?
up.
Have you ever have blown on a fire? Like you blow and it looks like it's going out, and then you stop and like sparks up
back
like
up.
that. They had to do that a few times, and then that pile was gone.
And then it started on one side and it worked its way all the way across, And by the time the whole thing was said and done, and the whole thing was really on fire, flames were 16 feet tall, and you couldn't stand within 30 feet, 25 feet before your leg hair started to singe.
It
a
was
little
definitely one of the best masterpieces we've
that
done.
was,
in my 10 years of scouting.
and we looked up, and about, I don't know, 40 feet above us is where the closest leaves were, and those suckers were shaking.
Yeah.
And then they started falling out of the tree
Yeah.
because they were dead.
Because like
murdered 'em.
all of the heat from the fire
just
that air is
evaporated
forcing
all
up,
of
so it
the
is rocking those
moisture.
branches.
And it was just killed that little bit of the tree.
Yeah, the funny part too is like I said, both the surrounding camps, the scouts, they came over to watch it and whatever, and they were like, "Yeah, we could see it from our campsite." And we're like, "Which is through the woods?
Through
Like,
the
there's
woods.
a big woods that
There's
they
a
saw
decent
it.
amount of woods to
Yeah.
see through, and I don't.
It was the sun.
I mean, it was.
It was.
You got to avert your eyes a little bit. You couldn't look right at it, but it was definitely a big fire.
just cool.
It was a good fire. And then I had brought some little magic packets, and they're just chemicals that you throw in a fire, and they make them
Turn blue.
flash blue, green, all sorts of different colors. Yeah, it's very fancy.
Yeah, well, funny note from my end of like when I saw the fire, my dad sent me a little video or an image of it, and I like first glanced at it and I was like, "Did the tent catch on fire?" I was like, "What is that?" It was just massive.
That's not what fire is.
Oh.
Bro, flop.
God, watch your grippers, dog.
Mic check.
All right, and
We're back. Sorry about that. Put your grippers away, dog. Quit moving your feet. Anyways,
but yeah, that I don't blame Jacob for thinking that a tent caught on fire because it was hot.
it was very hot, and that was definitely that bright.
Was it? I think it was Friday morning that Junior woke up with half his body.
That is the funniest.
forgot about that, too.
That is the funniest story.
It was.
We had-
I think it was Thursday
It
morning.
was Thursday morning.
I think it was Thursday. He
So
was
it
up
was
for
the
2
night
nights in a
before.
row.
I
So-
am lost on this story.
Oh, God. You didn't see
You're
that?
in for a treat.
Here
This
we
is
go.
good. This is
It
good.
might be one of those things
It
where like it's
slipped
gonna be
my
hard to
mind.
beat unless you were there.
Yo, yeah.
Double check them.
So
Check.
Thursday morning, whatever, we have a strict wake up time at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, you have
And
to
get
be
up
up
and
so
do
we can
the
start
call.
walking by like 7:15, 7:20, so we can be at breakfast.
On time, at least.
And I'll tell the point with my story. So I walk out, I look at my tent. I look over at a tent that our kids put up, and I see legs of a sleeping bag just out. And I'm like,
Out.
And
Kind of
I'm
like,
and I'm like, who is that? And
Like
they're like,
half
that's
in, half
Junior.
out.
I'm like, did Junior sleep under the tent? Like,
there's
Did he crawl
no
underneath
way.
with his sleeping bag?
Yeah,
like
did he
there's-
sleep half
how-
under?
it's like, what's
It's
happening?
like the Wicked Witch of the West.
and then
Yeah, literally.
yeah,
That's what I was
Basically.
thinking.
And then we get closer, and we're like, this man's through the tent.
He has kicked a hole in
somehow
the tent.
he slid out from off of his cot, but he just laying down. He slid down like a slide, and he went straight through the bottom of the tent. It wasn't like,
ripped, like,
it wasn't
right
like it
along,
was
like,
on
where
a
it's
seam or
stitched.
anything. It wasn't on a seam or anything.
It was,
though.
yeah, it was. It was
No,
like
wasn't.
right
It
there.
was straight through the bottom material.
No, it
think
wasn't
I-
through the
I think I
bottom. It's
might
like
have
through
been
the
for that one.
side.
Yeah, but it comes up.
It was like
I
through
thought
the
I didn't think it came through.
'Cause I remember
like
them
a-
trying to fix
an
it.
edge.
No, they shoved. Then they shoved it. So we're like, Junior, what happened?
What
He's
happened?
I don't know. He did not know.
He didn't say
know.
anything.
He was literally sleeping half out of the tent. Just legs just broke through.
Did not
Someone
know.
has a photo, right?
Yeah, I think I have a photo of
Okay.
it somewhere. Hold on.
We'll
I'll see what I can pull up.
Just
I'll
get
put
you
that
next
in
time,
there.
Well,
Dorothy.
yeah, we're gonna have a bunch of different photos and videos
God.
to try to add.
It's gonna be kind of cool.
Yeah, at the end of the episode, like if you're just listening on Spotify, you'll probably hear our voices end, but we're gonna put like a whole bunch of photos. Like we need photos of the rock, like the process of the rock, the cooking
Yeah.
competition, the fire, and Junior. So make sure to stick around for those.
Junior.
Gosh, it was. I just popped in my mind. I was
Yeah,
like,
that-
"Oh
that
my
was
gosh!"
I don't
how
have
did
an
we almost
actual
forget?
picture of it, but like in the corner of one of these pictures I have
Gosh, it's
of the thing of the fire being like prepped, you can kind of see it.
I
You
have some
can,
experience with rolling outside of my tent.
Me too. Me
yeah,
too.
but like they're
I
set
do
up like
too.
legit tents. Like they're not sleeping in the army tents, which
They-
are
they
changing
are
next year. We're making them sleep in the army
making them
tents next
sleep in
year.
there.
But like you can kind of see like where they'd fixed it. They shoved a stick through it to like close the gap a little bit.
They patched it up just so that way it wouldn't be open and letting all sorts of
bugs and
whatnot
like
in.
actual big creatures.
And they just took a stick, shoved it through the material like 4 times, and just basically stitched the thing together with one stick. So.
Just funny though.
It was just so funny.
It's just like such a first year thing to do.
Yeah, it was very first year thing, and it was. You wake up in the morning. Why are
legs?
Why are there legs hanging out?
Is he underneath it? No.
What?
He can't be underneath of it.
That's not the door.
9
3/4.
That's not the door.
And then they fix it with the stick, and the next morning it's the same thing. It's the same old story. It's
Funny part
be out.
Funny part too, like the next day was family night, and his parents came, and like his dad was like not surprised at all. He was like, "Ha, no way, really? That's funny." Or like, "It's crazy."
Again?
I'm gonna try to ask
Dang.
around. I think someone has a good picture.
I hope so. Matt
sure.
might. No,
I'm sure
Matt wasn't there yet.
I'm not sure.
So, Greg might. I would text
Yeah.
Greg. Greg would probably. He was taking pictures all the time.
Yeah.
So that's
But it
basically
was-
all we had.
Just hysterical because you just see a random half a sleeping bag just sticking out.
That's not supposed to be
I
there.
don't think that's supposed to be there.
That's not how a tent works, buddy.
Buddy.
Got a little hot in the tent last night. Just had to pop a window.
Pop some air.
Need some air in here.
That's something Junior would do. Can't find the zipper and just screw it.
Man, I don't need this stupid zipper crap. Wham!
Oh goodness.
Show you how a real scout.
Next morning, got up and left. All pretty. Which I think that was the fastest we've
That
ever
was-
been. Out.
Yeah, we
That was
packed
very-
up cold.
We were out of there before 8:30.
I think-
which was amazing.
It really helped.
Hour and a half for everyone to
Under.
pick up all their stuff, put their tents away.
Tents away.
Like trailer was loaded. We were getting in cars.
Yeah, we were.
8:30.
before.
Yeah.
I saw because I timed it. We were driving to 8:28. We were driving on the gravel path to the
Yeah.
main lot,
And
which
it
was
was-
crazy.
That was just a fantastic morning to
Yeah.
pack out. And
So when you guys left, did you guys go through like the front? Did you have?
Yeah.
yeah, we had to sign out.
And say because the back gate was like
It
locked.
got
when
locked
I
after
leave.
like
locked it back
Monday.
up.
Wouldn't know anything about that.
So that's pretty much.
That was scout camp.
Yeah, that was scout camp.
Good week.
2023 scout camp.
Yeah, for real. Now
Good
this will
times.
be on the internet forever. We can look back and
Yeah,
50
when we
years,
all have
remember
dementia.
it. Yeah. What's scout camp?
What's that?
Oh, where was that camp at again?
Oh, yeah, that's right. We didn't say it because we're morons.
What year was that Junior stuck his foot through the tent?
Yeah.
Ah,
Junior.
2023.
Now it's documented.
Yeah. So that'll
Good.
wrap up this episode.
Yeah. Well, since it's 4th of July, just like to thank all the veterans out there for keeping us free.
yes,
It's been a
of
great
course.
weekend, beautiful weather. At least for me, it's important for me. America, appreciate.
I feel like we owe him a group Star Spangled Banner. Is that copyrightable? Or?
Yeah.
I'll get the drums.
Yo, you just want to play taps real quick? Bust out the trumpet.
Nah, bro, that's a sad song.
Good
Go
song.
ahead, go ahead. You be the trumpet. I'll be the cymbals and drums.
All right, well, that's a bad omen.
I think we blew out the whatever. Yeah.
Our mics are off too, so you guys can hear.